What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. I know you guys can probably already tell, but it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out. So we got that Democratic governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, dancing on that fine line of being prosecuted as he continues his fight against Trump's efforts to clean up the migrant and crime crisis in his state, guys. I'm excited to get into this one, so we're gonna hop straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's hop straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent. We have a governor that refuses to admit he has problems. Everybody knows how bad it is. Flooded our country with fentanyl and with people that shouldn't be here, some of the worst people on earth, and illicit drugs decimated American communities and left us with the largest law enforcement challenge in our country's history.
Presidents saying they have had enough.
We need to invite President Trump in. We invite the National Guard in. You know, we've had 254 deaths in 233 days. And for anyone in our community to say people are safe, that is an outright lie.
They need help badly. Chicago desperately needs help. We don't want to lose Chicago. We're going to lose Chicago. We want to save these places. We're going to lose it. We're not going to allow this kind of savagery to destroy our society anymore. We're stopping it one by one.
Wow, folks, talk about an absolutely electric ad. We can see the Trump administration is steadfast in their mission of cleaning up the streets of Chicago. They are not going to stop until they get the job done, regardless of what Democratic leadership over there in the state continues to claim. There is no need for federal troops. Looks like the Trump administration is going to get the job done. We also have Border Commander Greg Bovino sending a message to Governor J.B. Pritzker alongside that Mayor Brandon Johnson.
They continue to deny the reality on the ground in that city.
Sandra, people get hurt. We saw that with the young lady that tried to run over the Border Patrol agent a couple of days ago. You know, we have a mission here. We're going to continue that mission. We won't stop the mission, despite what the governor and the mayor think. We're not going to stop our mission. Chicago's too important. Our country's too important. Ma and Pa America are too important. We're going to continue this mission anywhere, anytime, downtown Chicago. We have hundreds of CBP and Border Patrol agents right now streaming in to those violent areas of Chicago as we speak, and the proof's in the pudding. We're coming, and if you're an illegal alien, or especially an illegal alien gang member, I would self-deport now, or we'll do it for you.
And that message right there should read loud and clear to these illegals in our country, especially the criminal illegal aliens in our country, that you should just self-deport now, save yourself the trouble, or else you're going to be caught, apprehended by ICE agents. They're not going to stop until they get the job done. And this right here is what I voted for, despite what we're seeing from Democratic leadership, continuing to try to gaslight folks to believe that there is no problem at all. When you see the clips of what's going on in Chicago and Seattle, what was going on in Washington, D.C., you can see that there was clearly a problem. I'm glad to see the Trump administration is not letting this fall upon deaf ears. Now, these next clips that we're going to show you of that very deranged Illinois governor, J.B. Pritzker, is exactly what I mean when I say that he's going to get himself into some serious trouble with the words that are coming out of his mouth with the very dangerous and inflammatory rhetoric. This guy is totally out of control, and then he ends it all off with threats to President Donald Trump. You can't believe this stuff.
When Donald Trump says that, you know, it's a hellhole in Chicago, when he says that there's crime rampant across Chicago or Illinois, it's a complete BS. Number one, we're in the top half of states, 19th, in terms of safety, 19th, right? So we're in the top half of states. Like there's a whole bunch of states that are much worse than we are.
Like Texas.
Violent crime, like Texas. And Chicago is not in the top 25 or 30 cities in terms of violent crime. So, you know, and look at who's at the top, by the way. Several cities in Florida, several cities in Texas. But he doesn't talk about any of those places. He only talks about sending them to Portland, to L.A., to Washington, D.C., to Chicago. What do they all have in common?
So why do you think he does that? What are you saying? Let's make it clear.
Aside from the fact that he's out of his mind and has dementia, it's clear to me that he is targeting Democratic cities, blue cities, and especially blue cities in blue states. That there are blue cities in red states, but he's targeting blue cities in blue states, and particularly blue governors, Democratic governors.
They think they can get people used to the idea. And next year, I fear that what they're going to do is deploy these folks eventually to polling places and say they're protecting the vote. Donald Trump knows that without shenanigans and without these breaches of the Constitution, that he's going to lose the Congress. And if he loses, he's going to immediately, in the aftermath of the election, do what he said he might do in 2020, which is use the military to confiscate the ballot boxes and count the votes, claiming that there's fraud. Remember, he's called up all 50 states' election data to the Department of Justice because they want to review all 50 states for fraud. And they won't tell you exactly what they're going to do, but I fear that these are all connected. And this militarization, even without National Guard or military troops on the ground, you're seeing ICE act like a militaristic organization. You're seeing CBP act like it.
You know as well as I do, the President of the United States in the last 24 hours called for you to be imprisoned. I want to give you an opportunity. We've seen your reaction on social media, but I want to hear what you have to say back to the President of the United States.
Well, let's start with the idea that this is a convicted felon. I mean, think about that, who is threatening to jail me. I got to say, this guy's unhinged. He's insecure. He's a wannabe dictator. And there's one thing I really want to say to Donald Trump. If you come for my people, you come through me. So come and get me.
Talk about messaging being all over the place. We can see that deranged Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker just wants to blame Trump for being the bad guy when he's actually the good guy. He's swooping in and saving the day for J.B. Pritzker when he's continued to ignore all the calls and cries for help coming from the residents of Illinois. This guy ought to be ashamed of himself. But get this, guys, we've got folks, Democratic leadership in Illinois, actually coming out in support of J.B. Pritzker, saying that if President Donald Trump arrests J.B. Pritzker, they're going to be the next ones to step up.
In Illinois, we believe in the rule of law, not the rule of man. If Donald Trump wants to play dictator and arrest our governor, I will step up and continue Governor Pritzker's fight for the rule of law here in Illinois.
Listen, if Donald Trump thinks that by arresting Governor J.B. Pritzker that this fight is over, he is sorely mistaken, because he's going to have to come through me next, and I'm going to pick up right where J.B. left off. Illinois stands united in fighting back against Donald Trump's power grab.
These loonies on the left are truly unbelievable. We're now seeing the Democratic leadership, like the Secretary of State of Illinois and the Lieutenant Governor, coming out in support of J.B. Pritzker, saying that they will stand up and continue his fight if he is arrested. Now, we all seen President Donald Trump's True Social posts the other day calling for the arrest of the Chicago mayor and that governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, where he says Chicago mayor should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers, and Governor Pritzker as well. Well, we got Mayor Brandon Johnson's response to this call for arrest, and Mayor Brandon Johnson is saying that this is not the first time that Trump has tried to have a black man unjustly arrested. I'm not going anywhere. This man, these loonies on the left continue to try to play that race card. Talk about a bunch of race hustlers. This looks like something straight out of the playbook of Jasmine Crockett. The way they throw race into everything is very sickening. I mean, what does that have to do with anything? It's not the fact that you're a black man. It's the fact that you're neglecting to do your job. And then you're standing in the way of the folks that are trying to come in and do your job for you. I mean, pick a lane. We also had Representative Nancy Mace responding to Mayor Brandon Johnson saying this is not about race. Stop being racist. And I mean, come on now, that's just what it is. This is not about race whatsoever. But once again, the loonies on the left, they try to drag race into every single subject. We also had President Donald Trump once again going off on Governor Pritzker and that mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, during a roundtable, an Antifa roundtable at the White House. I want you guys to check this out.
Pritzker in Chicago, where you have Illinois, which is in a lot of trouble. Chicago's there. You know, potentially a great city again. It's not great now, but it could be great again. That's why we have to get there soon, because eventually you can't do that. What makes a man like that say that things are wonderful? Why doesn't he say, we love that President Trump is going to come and help us clean up Chicago and make it safe again? as opposed to fighting us and pretending that there weren't 50 murders and 200 shootings and all of that. Why is that? Go ahead, Nick.
To spite you. To spite the administration. That's simply what it's about at this point. Because, if you go and talk to some of these citizens, like I'll use Portland as an example again because I've been there for so long now. You talk to the neighbors that live in the apartments next door to the ICE facility. There are veterans with PTSD that live there, and they're here all night long screaming, fireworks being lit off by these rioters, children crying because they, can't sleep at night and they're scared of all the noise outside, and they can't leave. They can't. They got a lease. You can't just leave. These people aren't wealthy individuals, and that's one of the major problems here. And these people are afraid to come out and speak out. And they're getting no help from their government at all. They've been begging for the noise ordinance to be enforced outside of their apartment complex for months now, and the city of Portland has ignored them every single time. The victims are, as I said, they're afraid, but the governments aren't doing anything because they want to spite the administration. It's all political.
President Donald Trump with a very straightforward question to the Democratic leadership over there in the state of Illinois as to why they're not thanking his administration for the great help in the work that they're doing to clean up the crime and migrant crisis in their state. They're answering the cries of all their residents, but they continue to, go against and try to stop the great work that's happening in their state. And Nick Sorta, that journalist there, chimes in with another straightforward answer to the question, saying, hey, this is simply to spite your administration. There is no other answer for it. I think there's one other answer for it, and that's that TDS that we're seeing, that Trump derangement syndrome. It runs true over there through the Democratic Party. They cannot get over that big bad orange guy that's sitting in the White House right now. It really gets underneath their skin. Also want to shine light on this back and forth that we've seen from just the other day between the Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and the Department of War's Pete Hegseth, where Pritzker tweets out coming at Hegseth saying that Pete Hegseth was busy ignoring his job and doing push-ups as a part of a show for the Guinness Book of World Records, while Illinoisans are being invaded by Trump's military troops. Boo-hoo, they're doing the job that you refuse to do. You won't do anything, so guess what? The troops are now in your state. Give it a break. Talk about lost, delusional, deranged, and frankly out of touch. That's what Governor J.B. Pritzker is. Of course, Pete Hegseth could not let this slide. He responded, tweeting out saying, Governor, you might try a push-up or two. In the meantime, our troops will do the job that you refuse to do. Oh my goodness. Talk about laying it on thick. This is a response that was needed. Hopefully, J.B. Pritzker starts working as hard as those buttons on his dress shirt do to keep his shirt closed for Illinoisans. I mean, he claims that he wants them to be safe. He wants the troops out of his state. Well, if you want that, start working harder for your people. Work hard to clean up your streets, to protect these people that are clearly crying out saying there's a problem. And speaking of out of touch, we got that mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, taking it over to CNN to say that President Trump is too busy firing black women, dragging race into every single talking point. It's very sad.
If he was serious about safety, he would not have defunded a program of $800 million that was geared towards violence prevention. He cut the ATF budget by 30%. He has defunded our education system. He has defunded our transportation system. He is firing black women across this country. He's defunding our healthcare system. This president is absolutely out of control, and it's incumbent upon all of us. If there was ever a time for working people to unite in this country, now is that time. And the city of Chicago is going to stand firm in protecting humanity and protecting and defending our democracy.
Oh my goodness, guys. And I'm trying to keep it together. I do apologize for my laughter, but we're seeing this mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, is quickly becoming a complete and utter laughingstock. This guy is a joke. I mean, the way that he tries to push off the blame onto Trump and his administration nonstop, it has to be studied and documented. There is no other worst case of that Trump derangement syndrome than that Democratic leadership over there in the state of Illinois. And as a direct result of their very inflammatory and dangerous rhetoric, we're seeing once again the streets of Chicago, as you see right here, are flooded with anti-ICE protesters as a direct result of their lies and falsehoods that are continuously being pushed. And I just cannot find it within myself to leave you guys here without bringing or show you guys the reality of this situation before I conclude this video. So I want to show you the real, the raw, overall coming from residents of Illinois, absolutely slamming local politicians and the Democratic leadership over in their state for constantly ignoring their cries for help.
No, don't shake your head, because what's pitiful is you being able to be an alderman after you did such a thing. And then you got the audacity to be talking about some immigrant rights and looking down when somebody's addressing you. That's the reason why you all's plight don't have no power to it. You out there, you, Rodriguez, Vasquez, Jesse Fuentes, and when you get dummies like Desmond Yancey and Brandon Johnson out there pushing you all along, looking like a bunch of rebels without a cause, because your protests ain't even real. Because you're not citizens. You don't have no right to jobs, to free resources, coming over here fighting our government when you won't even fight your own.
That's right. That's right.
Coming over here burning our flags when you won't go pledge allegiance to your own, on your own soil. So yeah, keep looking down, keep shaking your head, because what's pitiful is that people thought that they should vote you into office. But that's all right, because we've been told y'all we coming for them seats. We coming for them seats. Yancey, you think you gonna keep on jumping up South Shore? Only thing we got to show for it over there with you, Greg Mitchell, and Michelle Harris is a bunch of illegals that y'all done dumped into our apartments over there. You won't stand up to fight for us at all.
And that right there, and you can hear it in our voices, that frustration that folks like myself and the Trump administration continues to speak on. We keep seeing Democratic leadership over in the state of Illinois saying there is no problem, but the residents, you could hear it in their voice. They beg to differ. That woman said that you're coming over here and you're fighting our government when you won't even fight your own. Coming over here and burning our flags. Funny how that works when you won't even pledge allegiance to your own country on your own soil. I mean, come on now. She's speaking nothing but facts. They continue to come over here, burn our flag, waving all these foreign flags, but they don't want to go back to that country. It just does not make any sense to me, and I'm tired of seeing it. Now, I'm going to end it here with this one. I thought this was a very interesting clip. We had an independent journalist. This right here is Brandy Cruz actually admitting that she once had Trump derangement syndrome, but she's overcome it, and now she's living a better life. Even feels even more attractive after overcoming it.
I'm going to tell it too anyway, because it's relevant to what we're talking about. I'm living proof that you can recover from TDS. I had strong Trump derangement syndrome for probably 8 years. This is one of the reasons I recovered from it. And by the way, it's much better to not have TDS. I'm happier, I'm healthier, more successful. I even think I got a little more attractive after I got rid of my Trump derangement syndrome. Yes.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. Once again, we're seeing that Democratic leadership over the state of Illinois, like that Governor J.B. Pritzker, continuing their fight against the Trump administration's efforts to clean up the crime and migrant crisis in their state. It makes no sense to me that you would neglect your citizens, neglect the taxpayers and folks that voted you in, but you want to fight someone that wants to come in and help answer those cries, those calls for help. It really, I just can't get that through my mind. But they better tread lightly, because they're skating on thin ice, the Trump administration, especially that Governor J.B. Pritzker and that Mayor Brandon Johnson. The things they're saying, the violence they're inciting, that very inflammatory rhetoric that we continue to see on these legacy media outlets, mainstream media outlets like CNN, MSDNC, is going to get them in a world of trouble. I'll tell you that right now. We see the way that this Governor J.B. Pritzker just feels like he can do and say whatever without any consequences or repercussions for his action. I'll tell you what, Trump is hearing it, and he's sitting back and waiting for you to cross that line. And guess what? He is going to put you in a world of hurt. Legal action. We'll see some prosecutions very soon if they continue to neglect their responsibilities and their oaths of their offices, guys. But I'll continue to follow this one. Any updates to come, you know, we're going to hit it right here with your boy RetroStef, guys. But please hop in that comment section. Comments are open. I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking on this one. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you enjoy more content like this. Catch you guys on the next one week.